Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Thai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajaka Astotara Sata Shri Shrimad, His Divine Grace. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajaka Astotara Sata Shri Shrimad, His Divine Grace. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Nama Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana Ki Jai. Brajabhumi Shri Vrindavan Dama Ki Jai. Mayapur Navadvip Dama Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Kalachanji Dama Ki Jai. Gangamai Ki Jai. Jamunamai Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Tulasi Marani Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Transcendental Books and Prashadam Distribution Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtana Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Braja Janaranjana Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Braja Janaranjana Jaya Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Kala Chanji Radha Kala Chanji Radhe Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radhe जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेव जय सुभद्रा जय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। So we'll read from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 20, the text 9. Yaswadharmena mam nityam nirashi shraddhayanvita bhajate sanakaistasya manorajan prasidati. Yaswadharmena mam nityam निराशी श्रद्धयान्विता भजते शनकैस्तस्य मनोराजन् प्रसीदति। यस्वधर्मेण मां नित्यं निराशी श्रद्धयान्विता भजते शनकैस्तस्य मनोराजन् प्रसीदति। यस्वधर्मेण मां नित्यं निराशी श्रद्धयान्विता शनकैस्तस्य मनोराजन् प्रसीदति। यस्वधर्मेण मां नित्यं निराश्री श्रद्धयान्विता भजकैर्शनकैस्तस्य मनोराजन् प्रसीदति। यस्वधर्मेण मां नित्यं निराश्री श्रद्धयान्विता भजकैर्शनकैस्तस्य मनोराजन् प्रसीदति। यस्वधर्मेण मां नित्यं निराश्री श्रद्धयान्विता भजते शनकैस्तस्य मनोराजन् प्रसीदति यः स्वधर्मेण मां नित्यं निराश्री श्रद्धयान्विता भजतेर्सनकैस्तस्य मनोराजन् प्रसीदति यः स्वधर्मेण मां नित्यं निराश्री श्रद्धयान्विता भजते शनकैर्तस्य मनोराजन् प्रसीदति. Transliteration: Yah, anyone, swadharmena, by his occupational duties, mam, me, nityam, regularly, nirashihi, without any motive, shraddhaya, with faith and devotion, anvitaha, endowed, bhajate, worships, shanake, gradually, tasya, his, manaha, mind, rajan, O King Prithu, prasidati, becomes fully satisfied. Translation: The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, continued, My dear King Prithu, when one situated in his occupational duty engages in my loving service without motive for material gain, he gradually becomes very satisfied within. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. This verse is also confirmed by the Vishnu Purana. Occupational duties are known as Varnashrama Dharma and apply to the four divisions of material and spiritual life, namely Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra, and Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasa. If one works according to the Varnashrama Dharma system and does not desire fruitive results, he gets satisfaction gradually. Discharging one's occupational duty as a means of rendering devotional service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the ultimate goal of life. Bhagavad Gita confirms this as the process of Karma Yoga. In other words, we should only act only for the satisfaction and the service of the Lord. Otherwise, we will be entangled by the resultant actions. Everyone is situated in his occupational duty, but the purpose of material occupations should not be material gain. Rather, everyone should offer the results of his occupational activities. A Brahmana, especially, should execute his occupational duties not for material gain, but to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra should work in a similar way. In this material world, everyone is engaged in various professional and occupational duties. But the purpose of such activities should be to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Devotional service is very simple, and anyone can adopt it. Let one remain what he is, and he need only install the deity of the Supreme Lord in his house. The deity may be Radha Krishna or Lakshmi Narayana. There are many other forms of the Lord. In this way, a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra can worship the deity with the results of his honest labor. Regardless of one's occupational duty, one should adopt the devotional means of hearing, chanting, remembering, worshipping, offering everything to the Lord, engaging in his service. In this way, one can easily engage himself in the service of the Lord. When the Lord is pleased with one's service, one's mission in life is fulfilled. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yenam Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. So the shloka today in Bhagavatam actually talks about Karma Yoga, Vin Bhakti Yoga, doing Bhakti Yoga. We all are doing karma, but offering one's results of activities to Lord Krishna is actually called true Bhakti Yoga itself and Karma Yoga, which, as in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has said, Yat karosi yadasnasi yat juhosi dadasi yat tapasyasi kauteya tat kurusva madarpanam. So, as is said in the purport, that whether we say Sravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atma Nivedanam. That means whether we hear about Bhagavan, we come to the temple to see him, we offer devotional service, we may offer flowers to him, we may hear him, we may see him, even our own life we dedicate to him. That is actually true purpose of human life. As Bhagavad Gita says, everything should be satisfaction for Bhagavan, Sri Krishna. So we can see that whether we are situated in the Varnashrama system, whether we are a brahmacharya, grahastha, vanaprastha or sannyasa, doesn't matter one is engaged as a brahmana, one is a kshatriya or a vaishya. Well, only few people are true brahmanas in today's world. Lot of us are either businessmen or shudras because we take salaries. But whatever we get, we do it as an offering for Krishna. And why does he says that there is gradual, if you look at the verse, it says Sanakai gradually gets purified. Why? Because karma is such that we have had prarabdha karma. So we have accumulated heaps and heaps of karma from innumerable births. Only by offering those results of those activities is that we gradually get purified from our karma. And when we do that is when we can be happy. Because why? If we want to aspire something in life, we want to do something in life, we may put effort, but we are very anxious of the results. So the best example is Krishna gave to Arjuna in the battlefield is, you fight for me, but don't worry about the outcome of the result. Whether the outcome is winning or losing, that is called surrender to Krishna. Of course, I have always said this, that one cannot say that not doing service, not doing activity, not working for Krishna, that is called laziness. Even Krishna did not allow Arjuna to be lazy. He didn't say him that just stand and watch. Well, even Krishna also told Arjuna that even if you don't fight, the outcome is already decided what is going to happen. So one should understand that surrender to Krishna is what actually makes life happy. We may be anxious of results. Sometimes there is some things can be changed and some things are predestined or ordained. So that is why it is said that when we do everything, we do as an offering. Because, like for example, whether we wake up in the morning or we don't wake up, the sun is going to rise. The same way, there are some things which are already predestined by prarabdha karma. Where we are born, who we are born to, it cannot be changed. It is by past karma. But what can be changed to some extent is the next aspect of it, is how we lead our life today. That is why it is said that whether one is a child, one is a student, one is a grahastha, one has a family, one has to maintain his occupation, one should actually be surrendered and doing everything to Lord Sri Krishna. And as in the purport it is said that Srila Prabhupada writes, one can worship coming to the temple, one can do devotional service at home. In fact, one of the acharyas in the Gaudiya Sampradayam, we can see that when one is advanced in devotional service, how Lord Krishna himself comes personally. Today is the disappearance day, tomorrow is of Sanatana Goswami. So in Bhakti Ratnakara it is said that once Sanatana Goswami was going begging around in Vrindavan, and he used to wanted to worship Madana Mohana. So every day Sanatana Goswami would go out begging, and at the time in Yamuna he saw some boys, children playing, some gopas. When one of the small boys, they saw Sanatana Goswami, he came running after him and grabbed him by his hand. He said to him that I want to take along with you. Then Sanatana Goswami said, why do you want to go with me? The boy said, I want to stay with you actually. Then he said, Sanatana Goswami was just wearing simple chadar and loin cloth, not dressed any opulently. He was a mendicant actually. So um, he says, what will you eat with me? Obviously, a child needs nourishment and everything. He says, I only eat chapatis and coarse rice. Then the small boy also said, I will also eat rice. But they said, you can't eat like this. You should go with your mother and father. But the boy still continuously hankered and pressed. Finally, Sanatana Goswami, what do you say, convinced the boy. But in that night, when Sanatana Goswami slept, actually the boy appeared in his dream and started laughing. He said, my actual name is Madana Mohana, so I should come tomorrow to you again. So immediately Sanatana Goswami woke up. He was overwhelmed by ecstasy because he realized that who is this person who came is none other than Sri Krishna himself. So his mind was filled with the remembrance of Sri Krishna. So interestingly, when he opened his door, he saw the deity of Madan Mohana in front of him. And of course, Sri Krishna's Archa Vigraha is himself. So he is as beautiful as what he is in Shyamam Rangam Tribhangam as how he is. And Sanatana Goswami was actually stunned by seeing him for some time like this, and his eyes was filled with ecstasy. So he then performed an Abhishekam ceremony. But one of the key things was Sanatana Goswami used to eat so less. So how can he worship a Vigraha like this so beautifully? So Sanatana Goswami became very, very sorrowful actually. So the Madana Mona thought to himself, Lord Krishna thinks to himself, I am only eating dry chapatis, and Sanatana's mind is very, very unhappy. He wants to serve me in a royal style. As a result, he feels that is service of no use. So at that time, a wealthy merchant of the Kshatriya caste, his name was Sri Krishnadas Kapoor, he came on his way to Mathura to do some business. And he was coming down Yamuna in a big boat. Unfortunately, in the sandbar in Yamuna, his boat got stuck. And there's no way he could see actually what he could do. So at that time, Krishnadas Kapoor came to local people. He knows Sanatana Goswami is a big sadhu. Then he said, okay, let me go pray to him what he can do. So when Krishnadas Kapoor came to Sanatana Goswami, he offered his obeisances to Madan Mohana Vigraha, and then, and Sanatana Goswami. Sanatana Goswami is wearing just loin cloth and chadar, and he is fully lean from austerity and renunciation. In spite of that, Sanatana Goswami offered him a grass mat, and touching him, he made him sit. See, this is called how, as we say, the word in Sanskritam is Atiti Devo Bhava, means one should receive when someone comes uninvited. The word Titi Devo Bhava means we may receive guests by actual, okay, we call someone, you take appointment here. But that is not the benefit called Atiti Devo Bhava. It is the uninvited guest actually, by serving him, you get benefit as serving as Bhagavan Sri Krishna. Invited guest is already known. It is the uninvited guest, when he comes without anything, by serving him is you get benefit actually. So you can see that Sanatana Goswami, in spite of having nothing, he offered. That is called true service. Sanatana said, I am only a true beggar. What kind of mercy I can give you? I can only pray for blessing. He says, I can only pray for blessings. My boat is, Krishnadas Kapoor explains, my boat is stuck in a sandbar. I have no way I can free it. He says, all you can do is, Sanatana Goswami says, you play to Madana Mohana, the deity. And so Krishna Das Kapoor goes to Madana Mohana and he offers his dandavats before Madana Mohana. He says, oh Madana Mohana deity, if you give all your mercy, free my boat, then whatever profit I make from the business, I will give from you. Yes, it is a little bit of a business kind of arrangement which Krishnadas Kapoor does. But then with this prayer, Krishnadas Kapoor asked his permission to leave. So in spite, it is said that pure devotional service is without expectation of return. But actually, as we see in this shlokam, we can see that one gradually becomes satisfied within, actually. So the word gradually is important. One cannot in one snap, yes, it is possible within one snap of a second to be satisfied and be that realized. But that is only there for those who are Bhagavan Sri Krishna's eternal associates. We have karma, we have purificatory process to go through. So it so happens that after this, uh, Krishnadas Kapoor leaves, and that day there's a huge storm which actually comes in Vrindavana and Mathura, and the whole Yamuna gets flooded, because obviously as the river gets, Yamuna gets flooded, the water swells and the boat is naturally fleed from the sandbar and makes down its way. Obviously, Krishnadas Kapoor could understand that this is all the mercy of Madana Mohana. So he made a very handsome profit by selling this, and he donated all this money to construct a temple for Sri Madana Mohana, including a Bhogashala. So today we see in Vrindavan there is a huge big temple, is because of this Bhagavata, Krishnadas Kapoor. So obviously after this, Sanatana Goswami accepted Krishnadas Kapoor as his disciple and gave him initiation. So today we can see that why we say this shloka many times, that Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami prays that Jayatam Surato Pangor Mama Mandir Matir Gati Mat Sarvasya Padam Bhujo Radha Madana Mohano. He says, glory to the all merciful Radha Madana Mohana. I am lame and ill advised, yet they are my directors, and their lotus feet are everything. So we can see that how that Krishnadas Kapoor surrendered to Sri Krishna and he got this benefit. Why it is said why gradual? Because in one shot one cannot come to that state. One should gradually elevate himself to the stage of pure devotional service. So we can see how actually that by doing devotional service, even in a partial way with some material tint, how Krishnadas Kapoor got purified and how Madana Mohana actually got installed in a big temple in Vrindavana. So we can see the example applies to all of us, that we may sometimes go, and after all, Lord Krishna says that Aham Sarvasya Mato Matha Sarvam Pravartade Aham Bija Pradapitaha. I am the father for everyone. So if we need something, we have to ask something from him, whether materially or spiritually. It is okay if people may come and we may ask for, obviously, we know that Chatur Vidha Bhajante Mam, 4 kinds of people with miseries, whether we have trouble, distress, knowledge, inquisitive, need wealth, all of these things we will come to Sri Krishna to pray. But the thing is, there is natural purification which comes, actually speaking, in terms of how we may ultimately surrender ourselves and go back to Sri Krishna's abode actually. Actually, it is said that Bhagavan, in spite of all, doesn't matter whatever difficulties, he always comes to actually support the Bhagavata. So actually in the 8th canto, when Kurma Avataram takes in the Samudra Mantanam, as we know, the pastime when Bhagavan takes incarnation as Kurma Dev or tortoise for the Samudra Mantanam, it says, Viloka Vignesha Vidham Tadeshwaro Durantyo Viryo Vitata Visandhi Kritva Vapu Kachapam Adbhutam Mahate Pravishya Girim Ujahara. So seeing the situation created by Sri Krishna, the ultimate powerful Bhagavan, whose determination is infallible, took the wonderful shape of tortoise and entered and lifted the Mandara mountain. So why is this so significant? Because actually in life, we all are sinking in one way or the other. Why the example of Kurma Avataram is important for us? Because Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi, birth, death, old age and disease are always existent in the material universe. From the highest species as a human, we may say, or to a fish or a plant or an animal. This is always present. So That is why we should elevate ourselves. So, Kurma Avataram, which Bhagavan took, is not just for Samudra Manthanam. Actually, the right word in Sanskritam to explain is Naika Karma Krit. So, the meaning of that is he is actually churning the ocean. So, churning the ocean is like, when you make curd, milk, and you boil milk, the more you boil it, the more thicker you becomes, the more creamier it becomes. Devotional service is like that. Initially, it is like just milk. The more you chant, the more you surrender, the more the milk becomes creamier. So our bhavam becomes like that. In fact, you can add sugar to a creamed milk, but actually you don't need sugar. The milk, if you, I mean, there are different varieties of milk which we will not get into, from an organic to a true cow. But in spite of that, if you take a milk and you boil it like a cream, has its natural sweetness. Similarly, chanting, as we say, Sri Krishna's name gives both effect. It not only purifies, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said, Namna Makari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktihi, which means the more we chant Sri Krishna's name, the more our tongue and body gets purified. It is like, as Prabhupada has said, that if you have jaundice or you are having fever, you cannot understand the taste. Even though if someone give a child, if he is sick, if you give chocolate, it will say, I can't feel it is sweet. Similarly, the milk, as we chant Krishna's name, his pastimes become more sweeter. They become ecstatic. Similarly, so there's two things. The pastime becomes sweeter, and also our ability to taste the pastime becomes also sweeter. It is both ways. So, of course, Krishna's pastimes are ever sweet. It is eternally sweet. It is our material senses cannot understand the sweetness. So one should not interpret that the pastimes becomes. It is our visual understanding by our senses is actually becomes more sweeter. So Naika Karma Krit means churning the ocean is like making devotional service sweeter. Supporting us, supporting the mountain is like Bhagavan always, Sri Krishna supports the Jivatma. As we can see that even in this Leela where Krishnadas Kapoor comes, how Sri Krishna with the Bhagavata surrendering to Madana Mohana. So Sanatana Goswami wanted to worship Madana Mohana in an opulent way. Sanatana Goswami is an advanced Nitya Siddha. He has only come to perform pastimes to show us as example. So the example we take is sometimes we may get opulence, we may not get opulence. One should be satisfied with how it is. One may have difficulties in life, one may not have difficulties in life. But one should still be surrendered to Sri Krishna. And if that opportunity comes, then we should take it and utilize it for the right thing. And of course, as Kurma Avataram, overcoming the enemies. Enemies as Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Madha, Matsara. Lust, anger, envy, jealousy, all these different aspects of vices which are present are those which are to be removed away. And finally, distributing the nectar, which is Amritam. And what is nectar is, as we say, chant Lord Sri Krishna's name, listen to his pastimes, Savarnam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam. Like that is where the aspect will come. In fact, another pastime we can see sometime where Sanatana Goswami actually one day went to Radhakunda to Sri Rupa Goswami and Raghunath Das Goswami. So when Sanatana Goswami offered them, they offered him obeisances. So Rupa Goswami had actually written a Stotram on Sri Radharani. And reading this shlokam, actually Sanatana Goswami was very wonderstruck. The shlokam said, Nava Goro Chana Gauri Pravirendri Varam Varam Manistavaka Vidyoti Veni Vyavalangana Phalam. He says, "O Vrindavaneshwari, I offer my obeisances to you because your complexion is like newly molten gold. You are known as Gaurangi. Your dress is beautiful, that is of a blue lotus. And your long braids of hair resemble like a black serpent decorated with jewels." When Sanatana Goswami saw this line, you know, comparing generally speaking, the braid of a woman to like a black serpent, he thought about this comparison. Is it logical or reasonable metaphor to compare Srimati Radharani's hair like a serpent? So that afternoon, Sri Sanatana Goswami went to Radhakund to take a bath. When he was offering in Radhakund, he saw at a distance some boys and girls were playing at the foot of some trees there. So when he glanced in the direction, he could actually see one of the small girls was having a long, in India, like a long black dangling braid. And he said, because he saw from the far, in India, Vrindavan may look very modern today, but even 50 years ago, 20, 30 years, it is quite like a jungle. So in an open field land, you will see snakes a lot sometimes. So he says, hey, there is a deadly snake hanging by your, hair. So it is ready to strike. So the young girl caught up in the joy. She couldn't hear him and everything. Thereupon he went running to her, and then actually Sanatana Goswami saw it. Actually, it is none other than Srimati Radharani. So this is the revelation that Sanatana Goswami saw the Gopas and Gopis, and he encountered Srimati Radharani, and he was wonderstruck by this beautiful Leela of Sri Krishna and Srimati Radharani, and he could understand the logic. Also, actually, it is said that Sanatana Goswami was very old. At the point, he used to actually circumambulate. He used to do Govardhan Parikrama every day for 4 miles. At some point, Sanatana Goswami became very, very, by old age, he couldn't do this anymore, but he still used to do this. So once a small Gopa boy came to him and actually told him that he discouraged him. He said, Sanatana Goswami, this is not something you should do. It is not possible for you at this age to go and actually circumambulate Sri Govardhan Hill. So actually, but he said, how can I not do this? I have taken a vow to do this. See, devotional service is having determination or dedication. Sometimes, just like we may wake up in the morning, we may chant our rounds, we come to the temple, or whatever in the home, we may want to offer something. Whether we buy something, we may make something for Bhagavan Sri Krishna, we offer it to him. So similarly, Sanatana Goswami was very dedicated actually to do this Govardhan Parikrama. But then he said that I cannot stop my vow. So this young Gopa boy said, it's okay, what if I give you a Sheela with Lord Krishna's footprint on it actually. So actually, the boy actually gave a Sheela of Govardhan, a Sheela with Lord Krishna's footprint actually. And so he said, well, if you say so, then I can circumambulate this. And then why? Because Govardhana Hill is not different than actually than Sri Krishna himself. That is why all devotees and Bhagavatas today also perform Govardhan Parikrama actually, and do not put your foot on Govardhan Hill actually, because it is non-different than Sri Krishna. So we can see that by dedication, Bhagavan Sri Krishna knows that in spite of his old age, he could actually make a way. Similarly, in our life too, we may have difficulties, but being sincere and dedicated to Sri Krishna is what actually will help us, overcome this material existence of cycle of birth and death. We are not saying, as we see in this shlokam today, it says gradually. No one is expecting one to become a mendicant or a renunciate or sit in a temple, give up their job. That is not. Some people may have the opportunity. Most of us, 99%, cannot do that. But what is important is to actually gradually give our results actually. So we can see that how, Lord Krishna will always help for his devotee. Name bhakta pranashyati. My devotee never perishes. Lord Krishna always tells that always I am there. even when Prahlada was in difficulty, even actually in this Kurma Avataram, we can see, we think that we are human beings, but the Adi Devatas or demigods are actually situated higher than us. So, in order to protect them, also he has taken Avataram as Kurma. So, we can understand that the Indradev and all the other Devatas, they had difficulty from the Asuras. So, what did Krishna do? He took Avataram as actually Kurma and tried to make sure that this situation is rectified actually. So, we can see how that Sri Krishna, in spite of all the different things, when we Bhagavatas face difficulties, we can always see that he is there to protect us actually. And also another thing is, we can say that Swavasaha, Sri Krishna is always in his own control. If we look even in the Kurma Avataram, immediately when the Amritam pot comes, what does he do? He takes Avataram as Mohini Murti. So the thing is, after Bhagavan puts all the Asuras to sleep, he likes to play with the Devatas. Why? Because the Devatas, and just like us, we feel we are independent. But unfortunately, it is like this. When you see a pearl necklace and all the pearls are nicely strung together on the string, they immediately, and they, all the pearls, if they imagine they had their own ability to be independent like this, they think they're stable. But the moment you remove the string, the pearls have actually no strength by themselves. Similarly, we Jivatmas are like that. We may think we are independent and we have control of everything, but actually everything rests on Sri Krishna. That is why it is said, the example given by Sanatana Goswami is how one should surrender to Sri Krishna. Sometimes Krishna may test us in those stages of initial devotional service, but that is actually not a test. It is our prarabdha karma, and our prarabdha karma, by going through them, is for our purification. Because only by an event which has happened, by prayashchittam or sacrifice, one can elevate oneself. Whether we want to succeed in material life, we may, a child wants to study, it has to sacrifice sleep, it has to study, it has to study for exam and get good marks. Even in office we do work, we have to put effort. Even the farmer actually who does farming, he has to, it doesn't matter today you use a plow or you use a tractor, he still has to drive and plow it. So the effort has to still be done by us. And that way all the result is actually to Sri Krishna. So that's why it is said, by gradual doing this, coming to temple, offering prasadam, eating prasadam, distributing prasadam, even at home, whatever we can do, this kind of devotional service is what Sri Krishna wants. Actually, Sri Krishna doesn't want anything. Everything is his already. It is his proprietorship. We are just an instrument and we are utilizing for his service only. And our pleasure should be such that seeing him happy. The best example is, we may have all the money, we may have a child, we may do everything for the child to see the child happy. So that is one example or analogy to it. So I will end today's class. So this is, just wanted to talk a little bit more about Sanatana Goswami because his disappearance day is coming. And so these examples show about how one should dedicate one's life even by thought. Sometimes it is not possible by even action, but even by thought, if it comes, that leads to the purification. So, Hare Krishna. Any questions or comments people want to share or ask? Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, thank you for the very nice class. I was appreciating the point you were making about boiling the milk, the analogy you were using in many ways. And I remember hearing, I'm sure we've all heard at some point or another how Srila Prabhupada talked about boiling the milk also. And so I looked it up on Vanipedia, and there's actually 4 times that Srila Prabhupada wrote letters to devotees talking about boiling the milk. And this was in 1972, which I found interesting too, which is kind of earlier, not early on, but it's there was still so much expansion that happened. But I'll just read one of them. I want that we shall concentrate on making our devotees Krishna conscious and ourselves becoming Krishna conscious, and not to be so much concerned with expanding ourselves widely, but without any spiritual content. Just like boiling the milk, it becomes thicker and sweeter. Now do like that, boil the milk. And so I was thinking, so Srila Prabhupada's saying, okay, don't worry about spreading Krishna consciousness, just focus on boiling the milk, is it? But then as I was thinking about it more, it's not that we don't share Krishna consciousness with others, but the more that we are boiling the milk ourselves, we will have that desire and we'll have something to share that we can give of substance. I think Srila Prabhupada wanted us to really take our own Krishna consciousness so seriously. So I just appreciated the analogy you were doing.
Thank you for sharing. Wonderful point, Mr. Prabhupada. Very nice.
Yeah, I mean, on that point, I just thought you'll still share the milk either way. Even if you just have milk and it hasn't even been boiled yet, you can still share it. They just, they'll have to boil it too. But the more that you boil your milk, the sweeter it is and the more attractive it is. So it's easier to share. I also had a question regarding the boiling the milk analogy. So I know when we're boiling milk to make sweets, we want to keep it on a nice, even heat, not too low, but actually kind of on a little bit more on the low side and just very steady, not too high, because that can burn the milk easily. And so I was thinking in a similar way, with the devotees, we have to be careful to see how they respond to things and to see every devotee is gonna have a different temperature that they can handle. But we have to be very personal with each devotee, is not to put them in a place where they're burning, and also if we're in a position to take care of them, not to allow themselves to put themselves in a position where they're burning, just taking so much, way too much service, more than they're capable of. And we saw that in the early days with a lot of Srila Prabhupada's earlier disciples. I mean, so many of them are still around and have done so much service and have learned a lot from what they went to, but a lot also suffered a lot because of the immature application. But I'm wondering though, how is there value in turning the heat up, and when should we turn the heat up past where we're comfortable, and then how do we know when to turn it back down, or how long to keep it on high, how long to keep it on low? Yeah, if we'll continue with that analogy.
I mean, the answer, just to say this, bhakti or devotional service, actually, we have no control on how we can turn it up or down. We cannot force anyone. It is natural from within for the Jivatma. And why it is because, as I said, there is prarabdha karma. As Krishna himself says in Bhagavad Gita, some may take the process, some may stop where they are, some may take another lifetimes or millions of lifetimes. Even us, this is not my first life. Right? I have taken countless millions of births. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Vasudeva sarvamiti bhaunam janmanam. For countless human births we come to this realization. So even we may think that, we want to, yes, we are only instruments. We may, as you said, we may give some person advancement, or we think that, okay, we may turn the temperature to make them advance. But there is two aspects of it. It is first that own Jivatma's desire, how he wants to advance. We cannot, that is a personal relationship between that Jivatma and Paramatma. We cannot control that, no matter what we do. Yes, spiritual masters, gurus, they are a different category. That is different. But for us, we are instruments. Like someone comes to temple, we may, I'm just using an analogy, we may engage them in service or whatever they do. They also need to decide if they want to take it further. So by us thinking we can turn it faster or lower, some person may already have that only that initial prarabdha karma and they may advance very fast, and sometimes they may not. So the best thing is not to, again the same thing would say is not to worry about the outcome. The outcome is his, because the jivatma, whoever we are saying, it is his property. So whether he wants to take him faster or no, that's his choice. That is how acharyas have, I'm just saying what acharyas have said. Yes, gurus and other people may engage and say certain things, but for us, we can never think that by doing this I can make this faster. That means that we are actually thinking we are controller. Especially comes to devotional service. Material life is different. That's what I would say. So, yeah, go ahead.
I'm just also, thank you for that response. That's very nice, like understanding, because some of us are preachers, some of us take a lot of time cultivating people.
Absolutely.
But I'm also wondering for myself, sometimes I feel like I need to be in the fire. Sometimes I feel like the fire is too hot. Do I just go by what I feel and just keep in touch with my Guru
The only way
Maharaj?
to say it is when one has come to this stage, one should surrender to Krishna and ask him. I will use the example of today's class, that Krishna Das Kapoor. He prayed to Madan Gopal, says, I offer and you help me. Initially, when someone doesn't know that, that is different. Now when we have come to that understanding that Bhagavan Sri Krishna is there and he is controller, then we have to leave it to him. He will decide how, for example, okay, I will just say this. One can say, I can fast today full day. I'm just using just an example, hypothetical example, and chant 24/7. We will get purification. But if thinking by that I will go to that level, can it happen? Yes. It 100% can happen. But as Paramatma, Sri Krishna knows what is your capability. Why? Because, for example, I will use this. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharma Paritagyam Mamekam Saranam Raja. If you surrender to me, Mokshishyami Ma Sucha means I will take you away. But are we all ready to quit everyone around us and go? Our family, children, kids. First thing we will think, have you written a will? Nothing wrong. These are all, Bhagavan says practical. Nothing wrong about it. Sri Krishna says, but are we ready? We want to. One devotional service, Krishna explains that is what we should aspire to. But a time will come naturally. That is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Ashlishya padarato pinashtumam. Whether you take me or leave me, that is how that mood should come. Yes, initially we may tell people, but now when we come to that stage, even the effort to chant, and the effort is his only. When that comes, one will not question whether I make progress or no. That is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said, whether you abandon or leave me. The worry is I am his servant only. I am only surrendered to Sri Krishna's lotus feet. When I have his feet, why do I worry what progress? There is no question of what is the level of progress. Yes, there are shastras and different things, Goswamis and other acharyas have written of what is different forms of bhavam and devotional service. But why worry about it? The cow never worries about how much love Krishna gives it. Na? The cow, and when I say cow, in Vrindavana, when the cows are around Sri Krishna, the cow is just surrendered. He just knows Krishna loves. The calf knows. He doesn't measure its love. Like that, how we should be. I am just quoting examples of other acharyas have said, so this is not my answer. So, sorry.
Getting a little late, but I appreciate this discussion very much. It's very nice. I was just thinking, from the angle of someone who is sharing Krishna consciousness and trying to help cultivate other devotees, and and also personally for yourself. I think two things came to mind is that for ourselves, sometimes we want to try and do more. We want to see how we can increase our reading or chanting or service. And sometimes we'll go further than we have the capacity to at the time. And so then we start to feel like it's too much and we can't handle it, right? And so, of course, this mood of, ultimately we're not the doer, right? Krishna's in control. We can do our best to serve, and then the results are not up to us. And at the same time, I think as we're going along, I think there's naturally are you feeling more inspired and more encouraged in your Krishna consciousness? Does it feel like the process is becoming sweeter? Is the milk actually boiling, or is it burning and you're feeling discouraged and you're feeling like, oh, I can't keep up with what I'm doing? Then we're trying to go beyond our capacity, because we're of course pure spirit souls, but we are in material bodies with the karma and the conditioning that we have from many lifetimes. And so I think from that angle, personally, we can see, do I feel more inspired? Am I more encouraged in my service, in my spiritual practice, or am I feeling, another way? And then for those that are newer to Krishna consciousness, I know, and sometimes, this will happen. They'll come and they're so enthusiastic and excited, so we pull them in and they do so much service, and then after, the same kind of thing, but, for somebody else, then they feel like it's too much, and then they may step back. I think about Srila Prabhupada often in the early days in 26 Second Avenue, how he did everything. Somebody was talking about how the disciples were even sharing that they had a bathroom that they were sharing, and Srila Prabhupada would line up in line with the other devotees waiting to go use the bathroom, to go shower. Unbelievable, but he just served them. He went and did all the shopping and fundraising and cut up and cooking and cleaning and serving out and gave the class and led the kirtan and never asked for anything. And then finally they kind of started to think, oh, how is all of this happening? And maybe we should help a little bit. And then gradually they became so encouraged. And I feel like that mood, to the degree that we can do that for those that are new to Krishna consciousness, of course, Srila Prabhupada is Srila Prabhupada, we can't imitate, but we can try to follow that example to the best of our ability. And then those that are under our care they'll feel so much love from us that they'll naturally want to give their heart to whatever we're doing and to Krishna. And so, yeah.
No, thank you. And just one other thing to add is, for ourselves also, the example like Sanatana Goswami, they are already Nitya Siddhas. They don't need guidance. They are examples. But for us, that's why we have association of devotees or Bhagavatas or our Guru, right? So that we cannot live in a mountain by ourselves or silo. Very few people have that self-driven ability. And that is again by previous karma, practice, chanting and everything like that. But for all of us, we will need guidance from, other Bhagavatas or devotees, as you asked, that if we are going too much, yes or no. That's why we have a spiritual master. A guru is very important, and other senior Bhagavatas who are there to guide us. So this applies to all of us actually. Anything else? Or okay, we'll end today's class. Thank you for the nice discussion. Vrindaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.